Sometimes there's shows where I just don't really know what it wants to do. That's definitely the case with Banished from the Heroes Party. I decided to live a quiet life in the countryside, a series that is airing in the fall 2021 anime season. This is my thoughts on the first 3 episodes, so let's jump right into it. Banished from the Heroes Party follows a guy named Red, and Red used to be, as the title would lead you to believe, a part of the Heroes Party. This is a party that was all centered around this one person that was the hero, which was actually Red's sister, Ruti. And while they were doing great, they were traveling around trying to find the Demon Lord and all this kind of stuff. At some point, the sage of the party, Ares, tells Red, look, you're not pulling your weight. All you have is common abilities. What special abilities you have, I can handle it. You're basically a way down on us. Get out of here. You're causing problems for Ruti. All this kind of stuff is your fault. Just bow out. And so Red kind of, after some talk, agrees to it and says, look, just tell them I went after this one thing for the Demon Lord. I went scouting and I never came back. And he's like, well, give me your equipment. It's like, how's that? What, you took off your clothes and then went scouting? That makes perfect sense. Anyways, after this, after kind of leaving the party, sorry, can't get over that. After leaving the party, Red goes and lives in some like peaceful town out in the middle of nowhere where there's really no issues, no real threats. After a while, he ends up saving one of this one kid of this village, ends up using the carpenter's brother to kind of help him build his first shop, and so he opens up his shop. And shortly after opening his shop, this one girl that he met while he was traveling, Rit, who was a princess of this one kingdom, ends up stumbling upon finding out that he's there, and she pretty much likes him, so she decides to kind of weasel her way into his life by saying, hey, can I stay here and work here? I know a lot about this stuff, like this right here, you need approval from the guild in order to be able to sell this. She kind of lays out all this information that he never really considered, and so he kind of reluctantly decides, yeah, sure, okay, you can work here, that's fine. Even though she's a princess and has plenty of money, you know that she wants to be there just to be with him. So yeah, so thus begins Red's peaceful life in the countryside, enjoying a shop and the presence of Rit, who, my gosh, how troublesome having her around you. And it seems very odd because while it's playing out the situation with Red, you know, him having the shop, Rit showing up, building up a stock that they would sell, you kind of have this side story of Ruti, who is the hero, and her party, which, again, is a little bit an interesting aspect to have always on the sideline, kind of curious as to what its significance is to let's enjoy life at the countryside. Additionally, we do play out the mechanics of this world. While it's not an isekai yet, it is a fantasy world with the gaming elements to it. So it's not as if, you know, somebody's in a video game. It's not as somebody's playing a video game. It's a fantasy setting, medieval times, but it's got mechanics that would seem for us very game-like, like skills and attributes, blessings. And what these blessings essentially are is that every person that's born has a blessing that's given to them by the gods. And this blessing is kind of a skill, a uniqueness about you. Like a blessing could be like being an assassin or something like that. The interesting thing they take this in the direction of is depending on what your blessing is, it ultimately affects you and your life. And at first I thought this was kind of a basic, you know, okay, yeah, all right, you can get scout, you can get, one was a spirit scout, which is what Rit is. You can get hero, and these will kind of tell what kind of abilities you can have and what specialties you can have. You can be a carpenter, and that makes you be a carpenter. But the weird direction it takes it at some point in episode 3 is that this is a driving force that can ultimately change you. And the way they explain this is having this random kid who apparently is bullying one of the characters in the story. He has bar fighter blessing. So he's a brawler. And so this makes him quick to anger and just want to fight everything that gets in his way. And so the kids are like, he's never been like this before. Well, he must have got his blessing. What do you mean? He got bar fighter, and so now he wants to fight everything. And it's like, wait, what? So now the blessings just make you mind controlled and wanting to fight everything? Wow, that's crappy world. I mean, at one point it kind of explains it nicely in the idea of like, well, technically if your blessing was assassin, well, you would have to kill other people in order to get it better, to build on your blessing. So it's not as if everything that is a blessing is going to be a blessing, a lot of them aren't really socially accepted. Yeah, he says that specifically people in nobility can become thieves, and people that are essentially, down the dirt can get things that are more grandiose. It's not as if where you're being born or anything is taken into account when you get your blessing, but it seems like it heavily manipulates you in some way, which that's the part that's weird to me. But while the entire time I'm thinking this Ares guy that got him kicked out of the heroes party obviously is the bad guy, and he's probably trying to weaken the heroes party just so that the Demon Lord is going to win, something weird like that. In the end, now that this whole thing has been explained, it makes me think more that Ares is being manipulated by the blessing, which I guess is technically it's a positive and a negative. That this story technically has a mechanic within it that somehow manages to make any bad guy have a reason for being a bad guy. So if somebody's an assassin, well, it's because he had the blessing of assassin. If somebody is a bar fighter and beats up everything, well, that's because the bar fighter skill. This poor guy. It has that element of forgiving everything. And I would imagine eventually probably the Demon Lord themselves. Well, they got the title of Demon Lords. Not as if they wanted to be the Demon Lord. It's just that's what it was. The thing that doesn't make sense to me is that at some point he explains it as if you have to kill other people of that blessing to get stronger in that blessing. So he's saying this world is just full of corruption and murder. I don't know if they were specifying that strictly for assassin or something like that, or if anybody, if they want, he literally, you see this girl walking out from this alleyway with blood all over her, and it's insinuating that she just killed somebody in the alleyway in order to get stronger. Like I said, I don't know why they explain it that way, but it makes it into a really weird world. I don't know. I maybe I'm just overblowing it. I probably am. I'll probably get plenty of comments saying that I'm overblowing, but it seemed like they portrayed that whole series of explanations very weirdly. And I don't know what to think of it. But anyways, overall, I'm enjoying the series. It's just kind of, the whole blessing thing has kind of dampened it down quite a bit. And at the same time, like I said earlier, it feels like the show doesn't really know what it wants to be. Does it want to be, let's make an apothecary, happy fun times in the fantasy world? Is it, let's follow the hero and their adventures? Is it blessings make you corrupt and kill other people? It's very difficult to really gauge exactly what kind of storytelling they're doing here. But in that sense, it's really unique in the idea that it has all these facets going for it. It's not just an apothecary anime, which we've had probably 15 this year. It seems like it's doing something different. I mean, additionally, we do have, it seems like a couple in an anime really early on, which is very surprising. I mean, it seems like Red and Rid are a thing, ? Which to have it this early in a series is quite shocking. It was funny that she was going to buy a double bed and everybody's he's like, no, we're not doing that. And they're like, you coward. the little orc guy's like, you coward. She's like, you coward. It's like, dude, seriously. She's leaving it open. So yeah, everything's going for it. Like I said, I think everything in the show is going. I think the first episode was pretty meh. The second episode picked it up a lot. Going in the third episode picked it up a lot. I really am enjoying a lot of the mixture of stuff that they're doing here with mechanics of the world, the hero's party, the life in the countryside, his life he left behind, the stories of the life he left behind, his experience with Rit joining him now, the relationship that they have that's very mature, unlike most anime. How the hero's party is kind of falling apart because they all know that Eris got rid of Red. It's just a little bit let down for me with what they're doing with the blessings. I really do feel like that undermines a lot of stuff, and I really don't fully I think they explained it wrong. And it looks decent. It's not doing a bad job with the animation, and so that's a plus as well. Yeah, that's my thoughts on Banished from the Hero's Party, a series in the fall 2021 anime season. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below, comment, let me know what you thought of the series, or if you're going to check it out. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video if you can. Support us on Patreon if you can. We definitely appreciate everybody that does. And there's a tip button in the description where you can help support us directly. And y'all take care.